So I want to have a little bit of fun with this because those of you who know me actually knows that I am a fight fan, I am a wrestling fan, but I don't really talk about it much because I don't watch it as faithfully as I did before. But it seems now that the UFC and the WWE is merging. Company endeavors, I believe, Ari Emanuel, the president, they've come to terms. Not exactly sure the whole details, but I just want to have a little fun here as far as what the title was going to be and who are we going to see and upcoming future shows and events.
What's up, blessed ones? You are now blaring the podcast. Brought to you by AB1 Studios. Thank you for your time. Listening. You want to know something else, blessed ones?
WrestleMania was just this past weekend, and it's been announced that Endeavors has bought out the WWE, and the Endeavors, they also own the UFC, but it's apparently it's a $21 billion entertainment industry. So we all know that there's been wrestlers and fighters they sometimes cross mix. Like, you got the Kim Shamrocks, the Dan Severins, the Bobby Lashley's, Brock Lesnar's, even Rampage had did a run. I mean, Kurt Angle is an Olympian, so you can say he's a legit guy. And of course, movies. You got movies like UFC movies, had these MMA movies and everything. But I'm interested to see like what's to come. Because, me growing up, like I grew up in the 90s, so I was familiar with, wrestling, WCW, WWE, ECW, all that. As I got older, I would look at them like, kind of like sometimes. But I still know the names. I still know the faces. I still know wrestling. And even with, me being into like fighting, like my brother, he's a pro fighter. Shout out to my brother, Handsome Thomas Blair. I wouldn't call him that, but this isn't nothing that's like peculiar or far-fetched, but when it said that the WWE and the UFC is going to merge to combine, I guess, the companies together, I just want to know what the names would be. Will it be like Ultimate Fighting Championship Wrestling, or will it be, sports entertainment, like Ultimate Sports Entertainment, the USC or something like that? Like, I like to meddle around with things like that. And, I don't like to, get too deep into certain things that I haven't followed as much. Like I said, I haven't followed it as much as I used to when I was younger, even like, maybe about the last couple years. But, I wonder what is going to be the the cash cow now, because we all know that WWE, regardless of whether you want to admit it or not, it is professional entertainment wrestling, but it's also it's scripted and predetermined, premeditated on like how the show's done, but the UFC's not. But we still know that the UFC and the WWE, they have those soap opera storylines or soap opera stories. Like, there's always going to be a story to tell. I remember the tension between Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. I remember the tension between Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor and John Jones and Daniel Cormier. It's the same thing under the same, now that there's a company that owns both, there could be some different contracts coming into place where it's just like, imagine you have a UFC guy coming in to the WWE, which is nothing new, but now it's kind of like, now that there's a contract, there can probably be there could be something totally different. A lot of the WWE shows could be totally different. Some of the UFC shows will be totally different. We might see some of the superstars at these press conferences. I want to know if they're going to now have guys train and professional sports. Like, you already have the entertainment aspect in WWE. You have a lot of the pure athletes in WWE. So how does that intermix now with the pro fighters, the pro MMA fighters? It's just something that I was curious about, because, like, again, I love wrestling and I love MMA. It's one of those things. Like, I never really been, I've been into boxing, came up in the Tyson era, the Lennox Lewis era, Sugar Shane Mosley era, but it was still, like, I wasn't, like, watching the pay-per-views. Like, I know him from what I know him from, but I still have respect for the sport. But, like, again, with UFC, like I said, the Joneses, the Diego Sanchez, the Ken Shamrocks, the Tito Ortiz, like, I know these guys. And I think you can still be a fan without necessarily watching every single event that they show. Same thing with me. Like, I always been like a wrestling fan, though, from when I was a kid. Like, that was probably like my main thing. Like, I used to watch that more than any other, combat sport, but like I said, like, I'm just interested to see what's going to happen, because, again, this is a new day and age. I talk about this all the time, social media era. So it's like, if they're merging to make their own entity, I want to know if this is where they're going to have guys who are no longer up to par. Like, you have some guys, they retire. They might not be on the best win streak. So is WWE going to be that, kind of like their, the beat is, like, again, all the WWE guys going to be commentating, doing events at UFC events, because, again, when you got the money and you have the connections and you own a company, you can do whatever you want. Things can go. Like, I want to know what network it's going to be on. I want to know, like, because, again, Endeavor, I believe they also have something to do with ESPN. So ESPN started covering, WWE, like, I think it was in 2020. So, I mean, they already covering, like, sports entertainment. So I'm just interested. But that was pretty much all I had this episode. I really just want to give y'all insiders, like, for those of you who are wrestling fans, MMA fans, what are your take on the new merger of the UFC and WWE? You know, y'all can do, again, as always, hit the link, like, share, subscribe, follow, send me a message, suggestions, requests. As always, stay safe, stay positive, productive. And this is Blair, your Cancer Care Bear, and I'll see y'all next time. One.